Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Rant channel. We're going to do something slightly different today. Instead of ranting about random things, we're going to rant about, why don't we rant about art techniques and what I like to do before setting up a drawing. So, I guess we'll start with inspiration. Again, as you guys know, if you watched any of my videos, then you know that I have a thing for researching all things Bharat. That's how you say India in Hindi. And last week I found, or rather I discovered, who the original queen of Bollywood was. I'm not sure if she's still around. Her name is oh God, I hope I'm saying this right. Her name is, and forgive me if I'm wrong in saying this, her name is Vijayanti Mala. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I found this picture of her from, I think it's a movie called Devta. And I fell in love. Oh, I really hope you can see that. I fell in love with the colors, the photography style, her pose, her expression, just everything, right? And at my office, my boss is subscribed to a bunch of random newsletters that he doesn't even know what's what. But in that newsletter, there was, I guess, an article for 120 different color palettes with the international, I guess, called Pantone color codes and everything. And the one that I liked, because it resonated with what I had seen in my, I guess, Bollywood research, if you want to call it that, was this page right here. I really hope you can see that. So this is actually taken by a guy named Mark Harper, and this was at a beach in Mexico. I don't know where. It was just in Mexico. And I'm Mexican, and I like those colors. And I feel like these colors have the same vibe going as my Bollywood printout with Miss Mala, we'll call her, because I cannot pronounce the first part of her name. Vijayanti, I think, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the template that I came up with. I'm also working on a personal project for a book I'm writing, and this is going to be a character concept type drawing. I don't draw women very often. I don't do female subjects very often. So I wanted to have very vibrant, very vibrant, very vivid, very feminine, and at the same time very alluring, very mysterious, but cheerful colors. So that's why I went with this palette. And if you notice, I scribbled a little bit here with some colors. That was actually with my Prismacolors. I have a technique where first, after I finish doing the pencil drawing, I take the Copic liners, outline the whole drawing, and then before filling it with color, I outline it again with Prismacolors. And I just do a very light outline. I don't actually fill it with color. I just really like the way the Copic ink blends with the Prismacolor. You get a more uniform application of the ink, and it's also, at least for me, I've noticed that it's easier to create more dramatic shifts in the light with the Prismacolor as a base for the Copic marker than if I just did Copic marker in India ink alone. However, you have to be careful with how heavy you go with your Prismacolor application, because if you go too heavy and you coat too much of the paper with the Prismacolor, then the The Copic is not going to stick correctly to the paper, and you're going to end up getting weird smudges and streaks. So you want to be very, very light with your Prismacolor. I am actually not sure that Prismacolor makes these anymore. I actually bought these back in 2007 for an art class I was taking way back in the day. These are the very thins. I really don't think that they make them like this anymore. And I literally have not bought another set of Prismacolors since then. Mostly because I took a very long sabbatical from doing artwork. But they're expensive. I don't feel right just throwing away good things. So we're going to use them up. Even though they're old, we're going to use them up till there's just stubs. And then I can confidently throw them out or put them in my yard bonfire or something, and then I don't feel bad. So, back to the palettes. Each palette, or actually each color from this palette is for a different thing on the drawing. So, if you look again on my little chart thing that I did here, the orange is going to be the part of the clothing. It's going to be the under layer, and then the top layer is going to be in purple, and then that kind of espresso chocolate brown is going to be used for all the shades, all the dark tones, all the shadows, and it's going to be the main color of the main subject on the background. I'm going to draw an idol. Not going to get too much into it because I really want you guys to see it once it's finished, but I'm going to draw a murti. That's what they call them. I'm going to draw a murti with a dancer, traditional or classical Indian dancer, doing a devotional dance in front of the murti with all these colors. And so this is for the orange, if you can see. This is going to be the darkest color, and then this yellow red 21, which is the cream, is going to be the lightest color. So that's the gradient for the oranges. And again, these are going to be my outline colors in the Prismacolor, the poppy red and orange. Here's the dahlias, the purples. Doesn't look like there's going to be that much of a gradient with this one, but believe me, there will be. And the way this particular combo blends, you really can't beat it. You can get some very dramatic shades this way, especially if you are very careful with the way you use the Prismacolors to outline. This is going to be used to draw very delicate kind of see-through fabric. So I think that there's going to be more of an emphasis with the Prismacolors because you get a sheerer tone out of these, and the Copics are going to be more of a formality to add depth in the shadows. Ooh, that sounded kind of emo. Depth in the shadows. And then, speaking of shadows, these are going to be the darkest tones. This is going to be the color for the murti, the idol. All of the shadows, the shade, shadows, shading, whatever you want to call it. All of the dark tones. These are going to be the colors that I'm using for that. Again, it doesn't look like there's much of a gradient here. It might even look like they clash a bit. But again, once these colors are blended and they're used correctly, you can get some very dramatic, very, very dramatic browns and blacks without actually having to use black or, dark sepia ink. I just feel like this is more flexible. It's more versatile. Good God, I can't talk today. And then these are going to be my highlights. And it's also going to be the combination that I'm going to use for the dancer's skin tone, where the light is hitting her. She is one of my characters that has a darker skin tone, so it's going to be a combination the light walnut and the colors here, so just ignore those for a minute, like this, and these right here, the walnut and these babies, are going to comprise her skin tone. So again, this was part of the inspiration. You saw the template. I don't want to show you the other images that I use to get my ideas together because I really want this to be a 100% surprise once I actually start doing it and putting everything together. So yeah, that's it. That's how I set up my colors, and well, rather this is how I set up my markers, my pencils, and my palettes before I start a drawing. I only recently started doing this, and I only recently started doing it because I was just getting too sidetracked, wanting to use literally every single color in my collection, and it was just taking up too much time, using up too much ink, and half the time the drawings were coming out too muddled. So I'm taking a couple steps back, going easy on the color, trying to not be so overzealous. You guys don't understand. I like to do the most when it comes to just really anything. And that really shows in my artwork. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope that y'all have a fantastic week because it is Sunday. Alrighty then, y'all be good.